We do have a fairly substantial amount of money in our NCF DAF, and without thinking about it a whole lot, especially before we knew the whole world of impact investing. Of course, you're just going to put it in stocks and bonds. To me, as a Christian, that's not the best place to put your money. There's a book out there by Don Simmons, The Steward Investor, and he was really quite challenging about you've already received a credit on your tax return for a donation to your DAF, and yet you're still trying to focus on maximizing your returns. And it just seems to me that all our wealth, and this is the main point of Don's book, and I fully agree with it, and I know the Lernahans do as well, that everything we have is God's, including our wealth. And you can use that wealth, in my opinion, to further God's kingdom a whole lot more through investing in a Talenton, in a Sovereigns, in an Eagle Fund than you would just through standard stocks and bonds. And it's my opinion at this point, but I haven't had enough experience with it, that you also can get a good return from those funds, and perhaps a better return than you'd get through your stocks and bonds. But the ultimate motivation for my wife and I is to further God's kingdom through our wealth. And it just seems to be a much better option, regardless of the return, to invest in these Christian impact.
If you had a chance to speak to people who are like, oh, impact, are just at step one of I'm considering impact investing out of my NCF, what would you say to them in terms of you've walked this road before that they're about to walk? Any words of advice for them?
That's a good question. I guess my first piece of advice would be is start with one fund and get your feet wet and get comfortable with it. But it's really a pretty painless process. I mean, first you need to get on a call with whoever leads the fund. An hour or less, they can do a great job of explaining what their fund is all about, the impact of the fund, your potential returns. And as long as they're approved by NCF really handles it from there. They're the ones who work with the fund managers to do the various paperwork and to get that investment moved from your stocks and bonds over to their fund. The two things that are kind of time consuming is deciding which of the funds it is that you might be interested in investing in, and then getting on an hour or so call with the fund manager to better understand the fund. But it's really not a very difficult process.